Good afternoon, ladies. How's everybody doing on this Sunday afternoon? Welcome, welcome, welcome. A Queens Roundtable show is back. This is the first show of 2021. And I am so excited to get started. I have an awesome guest here with me. But before she introduces herself and takes it away, I just want to let you know that we do this every second and fourth Sunday of the month. I bring on a different entrepreneur and we talk openly and honestly about entrepreneurship. And we end on a tangible note where you can take away different jewels and gems to be able to start using right away in your business to be able to level up your business in the way that you want to basically be able to take it to the next level, right? And get out of your own way. Okay. Because we know we are our own worst enemy, right? And we often stand in the way of our own progress. So I am your host, Jacqueline Kabah Harrison. And without further ado, I'm going to let my guest introduce herself and just, grab you a notepad and a pen and just get ready. All right, ladies. Okay, go ahead, Miss Kearn.
Hi, I am Kearn Cherry, speaker, coach, author, entrepreneur. Many of you know me as the co-founder and director of Success Women's Conference. We just finished up our Woman on Fire Conference 2021. Yes, we kicked off the year strong, starting on January the 1st. And yes, it was on fire. I am so excited to be here today and to share with y'all and to pour into you as well. Hopefully you'll get something from the conversation. We're going to be talking about increasing your visibility and your profitability at the same time. But anyway, I am so excited to share with you. I'm also #1 best-selling author of Trailblazers Who Lead. There were 29 of us that were part of that project, and those women have been fantabulous. But guess what? I'm doing a Trailblazers Who Lead too. So I'm going to be looking for some co-authors. I'll be sharing that as well later. Right now, my current book project and anthology, there's 30 of us there. Make it happen. That's right. For those who know about making things happen. And so just like Jacqueline right here, she knows how to make it happen. So we're going to be sharing in that anthology as well. And you'll see that come out later in March as we release the book during that time. So those are just some of the things I'm doing. I also have, and I'm looking for speakers. Yes, I'm getting ready to do a call for speakers, y'all, because guess what? Y'all know I love teaching and talking about create your own events. And guess what? Because I do that, I also love creating events. So I have Level Up Your Visibility and Profitability Conference coming up in April. You'll be seeing the dates come out real soon. And Power Up Summit. That's all about powering up everything in your life, from powering up your business, powering up your finance, powering up your health and your business, as I said before. So that being said, both of those conferences, Power Up will be out in June, late June, and then we had Level Up that's coming up first. I am looking for speakers. There's going to be a big call. Hopefully some of y'all will join us on both of the stages. But you can go to right now, CoachKearn.com, or Kearn Cherry as well. And if you want to see what we did last year was our first year doing the conference, Power Up Summit, as well. So that's powerupsummit.com that you can go to as well. But anyway, I'm so excited to be here with you. And so thank you, Jacqueline, for inviting me on.
I mean, I'm excited to have you here. You have a lot going on, and I didn't even know this, y'all. Even know, I mean, I didn't, because this is what I like about this, being able to bring on different women that are just, y'all are doing it. I mean, really. I mean, between giving women an opportunity to share their voice, I guess, and share their story, share their expertise, as well as your anthologies.
Yes.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, that is really great, and I appreciate you being here. And also, too, ladies, We have the Eight Queens Roundtable Quarterly Symposium. This year is titled Walking into 2021 Like a Boss, Renew Your Mindset and Reclaim Your Personal Power. And Miss Crockett Cherry is also speaking during that summit. Okay. So she's going to be talking about events, right?
Yeah,
How to
crazy little bit.
do
Yeah.
a profitable event. So, keep that in mind as well. So let me ask you this. Tell us a little bit about how did your businesses come about? What was the motivation and the inspiration behind it?
Well, I've been in business in my home care business, PR and home care, for over 23 years. And I often talk about, when I talk about that story, being in occupational therapy field for over 25 years. We were working, and my husband and I both, who run the company, we were working in the field, and the market took a true dive. Just they laid off everybody. It's like a national pink slip, thanks to our good friend Medicare. And so, that being said, I always say that sometimes God is speaking to you, but you're not necessarily like receiving or listening. And so we had a client that approached us back then to when we were working as therapists, trying to get us to actually take care of her husband at home. But when you're making really good money and somebody approaches you, and for them that was great money, especially if you have two of them, two people in that field. But for us, it wasn't. So we kind of turned and walked away. And then, of course, a year and a half later, everything changed. And so when we were looking at what we were going to do next, the idea of taking care of people at home, being able to be in control of that versus wondering what the federal government's going to do next. Yeah, it looked really ideal. And I can tell you probably about a week and a half or so into it, or after we had been doing it for just a short while of time, we got our first 24-hour client. And you can imagine that those numbers add up really quick. And so that brought us in the home care business, and we still do our home care business even through COVID. We've served our veterans and our private clients at home in their home, which is where a lot of people prefer to be if they can afford to be at their home. So we've enjoyed that, but along the way, I've been a part. I've always been active in my community. I believe my husband and I both believe in giving back and taking care of. When you receive in a business like most people you're doing, you should always be willing to pour back into your community. And as we have now, we have the global community, so your giving is a little more spread it now. But that being said, I've always done that. So creating events came from a need. I always see there's a need. Like we created a caregiver conference where we had over 600 people in attendance all the time for at least 5 to 6 years. I also worked with my first lady at Family of Faith on putting together Blessed Girls Rock, which we ran for 5 years, having over 450 people there at that conference as well. Many other events I chaired as the vice president and chair for Mental Health Association. I used to chair that for at least 5 or 6 years, where we raised over 50 grand plus every year at our bachelor auction, and that's clearing. So with nonprofits, I go in and I try to help use my expertise and bring that to the community as well. So just as you see me putting together Success Women's Conference, and the same thing happened with other things that I've done in the community. Now, Success Women's Conference, basically my partner and I, we were just sitting and talking, and we were like, we've been listening for the last 10 years. I've sat in meetings where people were like, we need a women's conference. Yes, there are meetings that you have. There are chamber meetings. There are women networking meetings and all that stuff, but it's not a conference, right? And so we saw that there was a need. The women needed more. They weren't getting enough. And so we started a Success Women's Conference. And 6 to 9 months later, it was just her and I that we were like, okay, let's just do it.
Okay, so give me some timelines, because I know I'm curious, and some other people that are watching are curious too. And also, let me say this. Thank you. I see some people have joined us, and I just want to kind of just acknowledge you all for taking the time out on your Sunday to join us. Jarmel, hi, Kizzy, and Nikita. Hey, Miss Nikita, Miss Yolanda, and Miss Tanithia. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I haven't said it in so long. I'm sorry if I said it wrong. And yeah, so I just want to acknowledge you all for joining us. Thank you so much. So, okay, so timeline wise, so you said you're an occupational therapist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So funny because my father's, I've worked in home care before too. I'm a social worker.
Ah, okay. Yes,
So,
yes.
but okay, so you saw that need there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like women needed more. So how long have you been doing that? When did you and your partner actually officially sit down and start planning your first conference?
So we actually sat down. I want to say it was 2015. I want to say we're in our 7th year. So this year will be our 7th year planning success. And I remember when we first really started thinking about actually doing it was March. I want to say it was 2015. I get my years mixed between 14 and 15. But that being said, we really decided, okay, we can do this. And the conference that year was in August, I want to say. I think when we eventually moved it to the fall. But that being said, women showed up. Y'all, one of the other things that we do at our conference is we recognize women at success now. We recognize them as top influencers. Initially, when we started, it was the Women of Achievement because we partner with an organization that I was currently heading as the president of, Lighthouse Business and Professional Women. And I wanted to make sure that I brought those women with us. And so I made sure to incorporate their awards and recognizing women and really blowing that up as well. So we had all those ladies celebrated during that particular first conference, and then we just continued to grow. So last year, I think we recognized, I want to say the director over that said there was over 120 plus women from around the nation that we recognized last year. So it's really it changes every year. Every year we find something different. Every year we're just as surprised as y'all are. In October, we had over 17,000 people at our conference virtually. In person, 2019, we ran I want to say between 1,100 and 1,500. I've never really done all the numbers there, but we were at the largest facility on the coast because we really had outgrown everything. We had over 25 states represented at our conference in 2019. And so 2020, of course, the global, when you go digital, you have the opportunity to easily go global. And that's what I enjoy about the internet. That's why I'm always telling people, you need to get out of your backyard. Stop looking at the pond that we all live in. We all live in a pond at home, our smaller community. And so you got to start realizing that there are women around the world that needs to hear what you have to say. You may not be touching the people that are waiting to hear your message. So now I always tell people, please share your message now. Get on the stage now. If you hear somebody talking about a conference, go ahead and go to that website and sign up. Go ahead and sign up and say, I want to be a speaker, right? And then, the flip side of that is I'm like, create your own stage because you're going to increase your credibility. You're going to increase your visibility. You're going to increase your connections, right? Your collaboration. because I'm all about collaborating with other people. There's no need of us looking at, there's not enough for me and somebody else. There's enough for all of us. There's enough for all of us. We have the world now at our fingertips. The time is now.
And you know what? When you talk about the internet, it's just so amazing how you can reach people everywhere. I'm pretty sure, with all of your participants, you have people probably from London,
Yeah, we did.
to Asia, everywhere. And I
Yeah.
know what you mean. It's like it's mind blowing. And I think with COVID, people have really began to open their eyes to that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to reach people in their own living room.
Exactly.
You don't necessarily have to go anywhere.
Right.
Let me acknowledge a couple of other people. We have a Nikki that joined us. I guess you know Nikki, right?
Nikki, which Nikki is that? Oh, Nikki Peters.
Nikki Reich, Rich.
Oh yeah, she's a friend of mine as well. Yay!
And we have Miss Tina. How y'all doing on this Sunday afternoon? Thank you for joining and getting all this good information.
Yes.
So, okay, so taking the virtual stage and recognize it. Now, but what do you say to those ladies that are just fearful, I guess kind of stage fright? I mean, I know speaking virtually is different than speaking like in person and looking out there. No, you don't think so?
Yeah, let me just speak to that, y'all. I know people think, and I know when people talk about the imposter syndrome, yes, it's real. It's real because none of us feel, okay, I'm not sure if I belong. There's a message that's inside of you that God wants you to share with the world. He wants that testimony. Your message is a testimony. It is not meant for us to sit back and hold that to ourselves. Who are you helping? Right? But let me talk about speakers. Y'all would be surprised how many speakers I have to chase down during this conference. The biggest part for me during the conference is my interaction with the speakers, the featured speakers. I have to beg them for those videos and all that stuff, or get them to the stage. Yes, because guess what? They have the same issues. I'm a speaker. I can tell you right now, it is a struggle. It takes me probably 4 or 5 hours to go do a 20-minute tape. It's like, how do you get your mindset so that you bring the energy, that your message is clear, that somebody is able to receive what you're saying? Everybody has the same struggle. Yes, that person may look lively, energetic, and all that, but they still struggle. I remember talking to a now friend of mine, Forrest Riley, and I was like, yeah, hey, I need to get that video. She's like, Kearn, you're asking me to talk to a screen. It's so much different when I'm on the stage. And for them, it's more like, I feed off the audience. So now you're saying, speak to the screen. Okay, the energy's different. And she's right, the energy is different. So it takes more for them to do and to produce and to make sure that the message comes across the same. And so, but just realize you're not the only one, and you need to push through. One thing about fear is that you have to push through fear. It's not a matter of that you can't master it. You only can't master it if you don't push through it. It's like pushing through the pain. You hear the football players talk, I work through the pain. I fight through it, because you're not going to be the best you can be if you're only doing just enough, if you allow fear to conquer you. So yes, you must go ahead and push through the fear. If fear comes across, you know what? That means you're doing something right. That means you need to go ahead and push forward, keep going, and do it. And yeah, okay, look, hey, all of us can look back. I can go to Zoom right now. I can look at some of my old videos, right? And I'm like, oh, girl, you sound tired. Your voice is dragging. You're stumbling over your words. And, I'm like, let me just go forward. Oh my, you just hate to see yourself, right? But the more you do it, the more relaxed you become. Now, I'm not saying you won't get that imposter syndrome show up. And I always say the devil is a lie. I'm going anyway. Let me let me just push on through because I know somebody is waiting to hear me. I mean, it's every time I get on the screen. You think I can deal with that today? I'm like, I gotta be on 2 o'clock. I remember Jacqueline said, are you gonna be on today? I'm like, it's up to you. Now, what I should have been saying was, of course, I'm going to be on at 2 o'clock today, right? But the imposter syndrome shows up and says, whoo, does somebody really? Maybe nobody cares, but there's always somebody on the other side waiting to hear what you have to hear. Whether it's just that they need that motivation talk, whether they just need somebody to encourage them, even though they don't know you and have never met you. They just need that word. So you have to realize that it might be one person in that room that you touch, but it is worth your time. It is worth your time. And how are you going to gain credibility if you're only showing up to a few stages 3 to 5 times a year? If that's all you're doing, I can guarantee you hadn't even got out of your pond. And I don't care how many national stages you speak on. If all I see you is occasionally on a stage here and there, I don't know you and I don't know your message. And that is keeping you from being a credible speaker.
Let me ask you this. What would you say as far as you just mentioned and talked about pushing through the fear. Oh, hi, Rochelle. Thank you for joining us. Pushing through the fear. What would you say was your biggest obstacle?
Oh, man.
How did you address it?
Well, first off, my voice drives me crazy as it is. So for those of you that don't know, I always I got an old person voice, right? Okay. I think for me, and just keep in mind, I'm going to say this on the front end. Some of you may need to get a speaker coach, but formulating my presentation, knowing where to start, as you hear people say when you're in school and you're writing a story, remember the teacher says you have a beginning, you have a middle, you have an end. Well, that's great. On paper that comes across, it can come across really good and look really good. But when you're speaking to people, you gotta reel me in. You gotta give me something that draws my attention. I can tell you, I'm the kind of person when I'm listening to anything, I normally got 3 or 4 other things that I'm trying to do at the same time so I can be focused, right? And that's just me. And there are a lot of people with some kind of attention deficit disorder. So for you to pull me in, I'm just going to say Lisa Nichols wasn't born overnight. Les Brown wasn't born overnight. All these speakers, it took time to craft that story. It took time for them to figure out what's their signature story. Because you got to figure out what's your signature story. What are you talking about every time you get on? You might tweak it. I'm going to use Dr. Sherwood. She might tweak it, but everybody knows her signature story. We all know that she was born in the projects. We all know that she was a legal secretary working just enough to get by. We know a lot of different things about her because of her signature story. So your signature story, yes, I would say that was probably, and still is, I still struggle with that today. I'm still struggling with it, but I'm working on it. And it gets better as I talk on the stages. The other thing is, I think most speakers deal with just getting on stages, finding stages to get on. They struggle with booking themselves, and I've learned through booking speakers that it's not always smart to go through an agent. So that being said, a lot of us are working really hard during this COVID time to make sure that we get ourselves booked on a lot of stages. Because a person who's doing speaking for a living, whether they're getting paid actual cash or not, it's important for them to be on the stage 4 to 6 times or more. I mean, I've watched some of these speakers, they're on the stage 2 or 3 times a week, right? Watch Les Brown, watch Dr. Cheryl Wood, watch all these speakers. They're speaking a lot. And yeah, they're not always getting paid physically, but you know what? They're so good at their craft, they get paid eventually. Trust me, they're going to get paid one way or another. It's just how they do it. But you have to go into it. Number one, I tell people, stop looking to get paid when you walk in the door. Most of us are expiring speakers, right? So we haven't, as they say, so to speak, arrived as far as the money side of things. And that's why I challenge people. And I say, this is the year of a speaker, because you can focus right now and put yourself on enough stage when 2022 come around, you can be getting paid on some of those speaking jobs. And so I challenge you to go ahead and not just book yourself on free things, but also pay to speak. It's okay. It's okay. The conferences and directors now, they're having to find different ways to pay for these productions that we're putting together to give you the platform to be on a stage. And so that costs money. It costs money, and it's not cheap. I don't care what people say. I don't care what platform you use. There is money involved in putting an event together. It's either going to come out of your pocket or it's coming out of my pocket. And I say we can collaborate and we can both bring it together so that you have a stage and you have an audience. It took us money to get 17,000 people in October. That was quite a bit of money. I'm not going to go into the numbers, but I can tell you in 2019, I personally raised over 60-something thousand out of a $200,000 budget. So you can imagine, that's right, 200,000, right? So it takes money to put on these machines, because that's what I call them. You know, they're machines that take a lot of money to run.
So you talked about so far, well, we were talking about obstacles, and I think it's important to acknowledge that, because a lot of times people just see the end game, you know what I mean? And they just assume that, you know, as silly as this sounds, but whether it's on a conscious level or subconscious level, the people just wake up and they have, you know, 17,000 people attending their virtual event. And that doesn't happen overnight. And also, you know, you don't know what that person has gone through. You know, you could have, you know, maybe somebody like you know, Lisa Nichols, you know, you see her now, you know, and she shares her story with us. But if you know, a lot of times the people we see online, or the people that our mentors who we hire to be our coaches, we don't really realize that struggle that has come along with that. So I always like to talk about that, because everybody has something, you know, and a lot of times we have a lot more in common than we don't. Because even though I do this roundtable show, I still get nervous just before I start. Now, once I get to talking, I'm good.
Exactly.
It's the before part, you know. So I just, you know, I always like to bring that up just so people will know and be okay with that. And it's okay to be fearful or apprehensive and all of those feelings, right? But just to push through it. You know what I mean? To push through it. And it will get easier. You know, not to say you won't get nervous at all,
right?
But it will get easier, you know, and that fear will not paralyze you or will not stop you on your tracks. You know what I mean? And that's what we want. We want you to keep going, and we want you to push through it.
Right. You really have to, you know, you hear some of the professional athletes say, you know, if you don't have butterflies, you know, it's probably not a challenge for you, right? I mean, you just got to realize, and typically something that is truly worth doing is going to make you knot up a little bit, right? It's something that challenges you and makes you want to do it. It typically is something to do with what you're called to do in the first place, right? So I tell people, it's your response to it. That's what matters, is your response. Do you sit and do you shy away and go back hiding and say, well, I'll do that next year? And next year becomes 5 years, and down the road, somebody else is already doing it. Now, nobody can tap into your natural gifts, right? Because you're born with those. But it's how you choose to use those gifts. It's how you choose to act upon those gifts. Many of you are sitting on those gifts right now, and I'm like, hey, I often talk about that parable in the Bible, Matthews 25:14-30. Do you want to be that servant who sat and buried the talent? It's called a parable for a reason. It's called a parable because you need to be acting on your gifts, your talents, and just as that master got angry at his servant, so does God get angry with us when we sit on the gifts that he's given to you. He gave them to you for a reason, not so that you just sit there and say, well, Lord, maybe next year I don't have time. Well, you guess what? Guess what you got right now? No matter what you're doing in life and how many jobs you got more time than you ever had before. Because guess what? Most of us are not doing. We ain't flying around the world, right? We're not going out and hanging in the movies every weekend that we can get off from work, right? We're not going and hanging out with families and friends. Look, hello. We're in a situation now where we have to stay home. And so you have an opportunity to be productive and to tap into things that you're doing. I often say, if you're a person who is a baker or, some type of cook, you can't even use that as an excuse, because guess what? They got it set up now. You can ship food around the world. All you got to do is do your homework and get it out. People doing meal prep programs and all kind of ways to make money. People open up boutiques online. People taking their crafts and selling them online. You got people who were in the clothing business. Now they're in the mask business. They're making masks and making money. I know several who are, literally dropping those dollars in their account. And then there are us that are speakers and coaches. We're able to now go beyond. Stop focusing on your pond, y'all. Now, you know what the Bible says about the prophet isn't appreciated in his backyard. So guess what we got now? The global ocean. You don't have to swim in your backyard anymore. Who cares if your friends don't think that your coaching program or you're not worth what you charge to speak and coach? You don't need to worry about that because you got the global ocean. Somebody out there needs you. Somebody needs your services. And stop charging those peanut prices. Okay, I'm calling it what it is. You got to start charging your worth. Value yourself. When you devalue yourself, everybody else is devaluing you too. So charge what you're worth, and look, share your story. There are so many platforms, and being in a book anthology is also a way to share your story. If you have not done a book, if you've not been a part of a book, then this is your time to share your story. Y'all, there are many people doing book anthologies, just not me. There are many. All my directors are doing anthology. Our chief information officer, our ambassador chair. You can go to Success Women's Nation. You want to be a part of anthology? Just go in there and drop it. And somebody be like, yes, I have this anthology, this and that. You need to share your story. It is important that you share your story. That is a testimony. It is scriptural that you must testify. You must show what God is doing in your life and what he's brought you to through. My chief information officer, Dr. Jerry, she shared my walk through hell. Yeah, some of us have been through hell and back, period. And you need to share that because somebody needs to hear your story. Somebody needs to know, because my story could be the same as yours, similar to yours, but you know what? It's different because it's me. And your story is different because it's you. But ain't nobody gonna know your story if you're not sharing your story. So not only should you be speaking, not only should you be coaching, but you should also be sharing and putting your story in an anthology. And if you want to one up that, you can become a visionary author and lead the whole project. So look, those are all the things that I always teach people. I always share that. That's something I teach in addition to the visibility coaching as well. But it's important that you take the time to share your story, to share your message, because it's critical now that you do that. It really is.
So let's just segue into letting them know again. Let them know that you do have these opportunities to be able to participate in an anthology with you, as well as the other couple of speaking engagements that are upcoming that you mentioned.
Okay, so right now I'm getting ready to close out. I have Make It Happen, which is I only have a couple of those positions left. And what I'm looking for in that is people who have done things. And let's face it, I don't care if it's you did an event and you knew you saw a need and you made it happen. I don't care if you were in a domestic violence situation and you had to get your family out of it, but you found a way to make it happen. You know, when I first came across, decided to do this title, and trust me, this has been a title that's been in me for almost 20 years now. And so, yeah, even when I did Trailblazers Who Lead One, this was a title that I was looking at doing. So while I was sitting one day, and I was sitting like I'm telling y'all not to do, I was sitting and I had already released this announcement on this book. And, you know, initially it was like a great response, and then it gets quiet like crickets, right? And you start asking yourself, well, Lord, is this the title I was supposed to do? Is this really what you know, I mean, because for me, I often tell people I'm not a true writer. I'm not a journalist and all that stuff. But in 2019, he gave me and directed me to do Trailblazers Who Lead. And trust me, I went kicking and screaming because I was not planning on doing no anthology. Okay, I had been a part of sharing two different books, one Dr. Cheryl Wood, one my partner Dorothy, sharing in their books, one chapter, and trust me, it was a fight to get those chapters out of me, right? But I got them out of there. So now you're saying, Lord, I need to be the visionary author and lead other people to share their stories. Really? And so that being said, of course, I got the same imposter syndrome that showed up again for Make It Happen. And I was sitting one morning, and you know, I'm not a morning person, so you know this was really rare. Sitting one morning, and I was on Facebook, as I usually am, checking out, and here comes across the screen, and he shall make it happen. Isaiah 60:22. I was like, let me go Google this and make sure I didn't see that wrong. So I Googled it, and sure enough, all these visuals come up, and he shall make it happen. I'm like, okay. So God just answered me and said, yes, you're going to do this book project. Yes, this is what I'm directing you to do. You're going to put it out there. You're going to start resharing. And I did right after success in October. And out of the blue, all these authors started showing up. And I said, wow. And so, you know, sometimes because we're being stubborn and hard-headed, we sit on things that God has for us. That sometimes the reason why you're not reaping prosperity is because you're being hard-headed and you're not listening to him. No, he ain't gonna let you operate in the comfort zone. Go ahead.
So I have a question. So I'm here and I'm thinking, I'm not a writer. You know, I mean, in the least bit.
Exactly.
So what do you say to a person who you know feels the same way? I mean, like don't you have to have some sort of skill in terms of publishing or writing or something in order to be the visionary of a project like that? No, not at all.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am. What I do is I put a team together. Initially, when I first did Trailblazers who Lead, a young lady actually approached me to do a book anthology. She's like, well, you got all the people following you. I'm like, and they're following me. That ain't got nothing, and she kept pushing and kicking. I always say, God send you people. And sometimes it's because he wants you to do it, right? And so, no, I'm the same way that the same thing you said is the same way I feel. I'm not even in that industry, right? And I'm not trying to be the publisher. I can hire my own publisher. I'm hiring my own publisher, my own editor. I have my person that's doing the websites, the graphics. I'm just hiring those people in place. And because I realize that so many people are in anthologies right now, and what they're getting is a story, some graphics, and an announcement, right? And they may get some training, and that's it. I'm about more. I want more. I want my people to leave feeling like they are just gonna go to the moon. And the ladies with Trailblazers will tell you, they were like, Karen, I think you're undercharging for this project. I'm like, well, y'all know me. I'm about visibility. And so when my people are part of my project, we're doing, and I literally just started booking some of the podcasts, some of the magazines that they'll be in. They will be on, they'll have a video trailer that you'll see come out. They'll be #1 bestseller. I'm just going to go ahead and claim it. #1 bestseller author. they, they are getting training. We have training at least once a month. Last month was more about come out to make sure that they understand how to start their content. A lot of people call it writer's block. For me, it's like, it's just a block. Okay. I just need some encouragement so that I can get these ideas on the paper. So that being said, I brought in my good friend and my stylist. I hope y'all like my clothes. My stylist is also a journalist, and she came in and helped with content last month, so to help them to go ahead and start getting their story on papers. I tell people all the time, as far as from writing your story, start with an anthology. Share your story there. I'm often telling people, why you got to share your whole book, your whole life? Are you 80 years old? Because you're not. You can share 40 different stories, and some of them are just tweak off the other story you already shared. And you can be a part of a tribe, y'all. That's the good thing about an anthology. You got a tribe of women who gonna help promote the book, and you promote, and then y'all learn each other. My people from Trailblazers who Lead, they're like in their own little collaborations now. They're doing their own speaking platform, like with Make It Happen. Those authors that are participating, they will at least be in at least one of my panels at Level Up, at the Level Up conference. The Trailblazers Who Lead, which is my next book project coming out, that those authors will be a part, once again, just like the authors from the year before. Trailblazers Who Lead authors will be a part of Power Up Summit. And so that being said, some of them will speak and some of them will be on a panel discussion. But I want to make sure that they're involved and that they're heard. I'm also going to make sure they're part of other events. I'm going to make sure they know, hey, y'all need to get this. It has a speaking opportunity. You need to try to get in there. You need to get your increase your platform, because I watched the others that participated with me last year, and they're all doing their own things. Many have started their own business, their coaching, their podcast, their own events. So look, that's what a book project should be about. So if you want to be a part of a book project, and look, if you want to be a visionary author and you don't know where to start or how to do it, hey, I coach on that. Yes, I do. I do, because I went into it because I feel like there are many people that are like, why, how did I, just what you asked me before, where did I start? Where do I get a publisher? Where do I get an editor? How do I keep it? I want to make some money. I don't want to just do the book and then I'm doing all the work and everybody else getting the benefit and I make nothing. I coach on all that so that you leave, like I say in creating your own event, that they leave full and your pockets leave full too. Hello.
Hello. Listen, you might pour into people, but not making the money. How many people will continue to be able to pour into?
Exactly. That's stop giving away your goodies, ladies. You know, I'm serious. Y'all are so busy giving everything away. I'm like, how do y'all have anything? If everything you create, there's no profit at the end of the day. You got to make money from what you're doing. Your gifts were given. Look, another scripture. Proverbs 18:16. If you make room for your gifts, the world will make room for you. That is God telling you, if you walk in your gift, if you use what I put inside of you, if you walk in what I tell you to do, you will be profitable. Now, I am telling you, it is meant for you to be profitable, but it is not meant for you to sit on the sideline and say, oh, well, maybe next year I'm going to see how she does it. Okay, well, she's going to be the one making money. You're going to be sitting on the sideline saying, I should have done something. 2021 is your year. We have people at our fingertips from around the world that are waiting on you to do something. You know what? When I did Trailblazers Who Lead One, I had people contacting me saying, I've been following you for years, and I've been waiting for an opportunity to work for you. I'm looking over on my Facebook site saying, we're not even friends. You've been following me, right? So know that there are people that you don't even know that are watching what you're doing, and they're waiting for you to give them an opportunity to join in a collaboration with you. Why not start with a book? Why not do something like that? Why not create your own event? Why not?
And you know what? I have to say this. I want you to elaborate on it. I know I've suffered with this, and I know a lot of women do. This whole idea of perfectionism, right? And a lot of people don't want to start something because they don't have a perfect website with all the bells and whistles. They don't have the appropriate equipment. They don't got the right kind of camera. And they don't have this app, and they don't have a home office. I know the list goes on and on and on, right? So speak to that about just starting. It doesn't have to be perfect. You know what I mean? No one's looking for it to be perfect, and you're going to learn and grow and modify as you go along.
Look, I'm speaking to women now because men don't function like this. Okay, they just don't. I love the motto of how men respond to things. They just do it. Yes, the Nike commercial said they just do it. They got an idea. I watch my son, and God bless him. He gets me motivated and hyped. I watch my son leave here at the age of 19. He's now 30 something. He left home and he told us when he was 18, he said, it might have been 17. He said, if I'm here at Taco Bell 2 years from now, I'm quitting. And I was like, why? He said, well, the people been here, some of them been here 25 years and they ain't even a manager. And I was like, okay. And so he did exactly that. He quit. And then my sister was moved to North Carolina. And he said, when she come back through, when she does, whenever that is, I'm going to pack my stuff and I'm leaving. And I'm like, okay. So next thing you know, probably within a year, she comes through, visit. And sure enough, he packs his little car and I said, he's going to die. What are you doing? He said, I told y'all I was leaving. He said, because Mom, he was in the modeling then, right? And he said, there's nothing here. If I'm going to do this, I got to move. So he packed his stuff and moved. He lived in North Carolina 7 years. And I was like, what are you doing? Oh, I started this business, right? He did an online business. He was selling shoes online, y'all. He had all them little Nike shoes that he had talked his little mama and daddy into getting. And so he kept those shoes up. Look, he kept the box. He kept everything just pristine. He sold them online for more than we paid for them, right? So he went from that business to another business. I said, oh, really? What you doing now? Oh, I'm doing this bit. What you doing now? Oh, I'm reading that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And, I'm doing this, that, and this. I'm like, okay. He just did it, right? He didn't overanalyze it. He didn't sit on it waiting around for somebody to tell him the right way. He just threw his feet in there and kept going. And so I'm like, how does he have that? And I'm sitting here dealing with the imposter syndrome, is what they calling it now. And so I'm like, why does he just have the ability to just go ahead and do something that he really don't know a whole lot about? But he just figured it out as he went through it. And I'm using him as an example as just a guy that doesn't sit and overanalyze stuff. Wasn't worried about whether he had a website or whether he had a place for people to go or nothing like that. I heard a guy, and it might have been in a movie, but I remember watching this clip where the guy said, I got online and I was talking on the phone, and the people were asking me, well, do you have this and do you have that, and how many people you have work for you? And he was like, I got 50 people working for me, and I got this, that, and this. He was sitting in his little room, a part of his apartment. He had nobody working for him, but he sold it like he was working for him. And he was like, and then after I hung up the phone, and once I got the contract, I just hired the people that I need. I said, Lord, have mercy, really? That's how they operate, because they understand that it's never going to be given to you at the perfect time. There's no perfect moment to do anything. Last year, 2019, I was looking at my website and I said, wow, this is jacked up. I'm saying that out loud now, but it was. And so, but you know what? I said, oh, well, I'm going to keep marching. And, it is what it is. And then my great little assistant that God had blessed me with in 2020 came along, Rita, and she just has changed that up and leveled up my website. But I didn't worry about it. I couldn't sit around waiting and saying I can't do this because I don't have a website that looks good. I don't have the coaching things that I need to put my coaching business out there. I know my gifting. If you work with me, you're going to be successful at your event. Now, that's if you listen and that you give yourself enough time for your event to be successful. But if you want to do your own thing, I'm going to let you know all that. Yes, you're going to have money to run an event. You need to come in and work the plan and come in and be willing to invest in yourself. If you can't invest in yourself, why you want me to invest in you? I'm just saying. So you have to be willing to do that. One of the second best things that I got behind Rita, I hired a coach. Look, y'all, I took the bullet. Okay. I'm like, hiring a coach ain't cheap. Not a real good coach, right? So I hired a coach, and it was something that God showed me. And I say this because I noticed the process. I kept interviewing different coaches. I had several great coaches that I was getting ready to hire. And I don't know if it was a God interception or just a COVID moment, because that's what it came down to. But anyway, the bottom line is, once I did hire the coach, I went through the process of working with her, and I remember she called me, and that's Ty Miles. Shout out to Ty. Once she called me after we were at our last session, she said, well, Kearn, have you got any clients yet? And I was like, and sure enough, just like that, phone run. I did not do any promotion of my service. Somebody said, I saw your level up. I saw your power up. I want to work with you on this. Two of them right in a row. The first one, I was like, nah, she's not going to do anything. Sure enough, she's like, how much how much do I need to do to work with you because I got an event? And then the next one's like, okay, Kern, I'm in. So that's how God works. And yes, it paid back the money I had put out. And trust me, it was not cheap. I could have got me a little car with that money that I paid. But that being said, really, but that being said, it was worth it because it took me out of that position of being dependent and struggling in my own head. It's just that a lot of times what we're trying to do, we have locked it in our own head. It's us. We're holding our own selves up. And because some of us are being too cheap or just doubting, ourselves, that's what a coach does. A coach pulls all that out and allows you to shine and allows you to grow and work that gift that's already inside of you anyway. So yeah, I would definitely tell people, get a coach. Get a coach, get you a good virtual assistant. My Rita is not I always call her my Rita. Rita is my chief virtual officer now because Lord knows she ain't no virtual assistant. She way more than that. But that being said, get you somebody to help you get yourself organized and then get you somebody who's going to help you push that idea out there into true existence.
Yeah, I need a good virtual assistant too, actually.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, and once you get the right, oh Lord, and there's no look. Rita was not the first VA that I hired. I had another one. Sometimes you got to go through a couple, but even the other one I had, we had ups and downs, but it's still better than zero. When you ain't got nothing, you literally got nothing. So I was able to take that time that I had with her, and take that over to Rita. And look, we flying. We got 2 conferences coming up because I talk about Rita like she's my little partner. And then we got the book anthologies. We got our teams, and I'm able to now bring in teams to put on all these things and to help other people do it as well.
Right. That's what it's all about.
Yes.
I'm looking at the time. So in terms of your actual topic, I know you touched on it, but are there any final pieces of the puzzle that you want to leave everybody with in terms of the actual topic?
Yes. So what I want to, and I'll touch on it real briefly because I want to make sure that people know that this is your time to put yourself out there and build up your brand. Right? Increasing your visibility and profitability is all about getting your brand out there and being seen as somebody to come to as an expert in your field. You don't want to just say, because I heard somebody say the other day, so many coaches out there. And yet, yes, there are going to be so many coaches, so many speakers, whatever. But you want to become the expert, one of those experts that is sought after, right? So how do you do that? So I'm going to give you some suggestions. So, get your notes so that you can write this down. To become an expert, now that we're in the digital age, okay? If you were not in the digital age before, you are now here. So you now need to get yourself on these platforms. I'm going to list those out real quick. You need to first, my favorite is LinkedIn. It's all about business. It's where you can build collaborations. You can get yourself seen. People will see you. And if you build it right, people will reach out to you as well. Of course, you got to have a Facebook business page. There are ways you're going to have to do that for that page to become where you can actually grow from that. But I'll talk about that in a few minutes. And then you want to be on Twitter. Twitter and LinkedIn is where they're hiring people, y'all. You see, that's the secret current going on. But Twitter and LinkedIn have become the sites where the professionals are, and they're hiring people. Now, we know they had to excommunicate some people recently. But that being said, for those of us that are keeping it professional, yes, that's the site you want to be at. Now, Instagram. Y'all know there are people on there. It ain't about just sharing your pictures, okay? It's about putting your business out there. You can do that with Instagram as well. Y'all, take your dogs down. I'm going to say that. Y'all going to hear me say that every time I get on. Take your dogs down. Your baby ain't your profile either. That might be a temporary profile, but it shouldn't be your permanent. Because I'm gonna tell you, some of y'all be looking at your site saying, and you said you a speaker? Speaker what? Wait, because I see this dog up here. You selling yourself as a dog? Because I'm telling you, as a conference director, I'm going to your site. I'm gonna look at what you got up there. And I see a dog, I'm like, no, she's not professional. She ain't ready yet. I'm telling you, because my brand, you can go anywhere, you're going to see me. You're going to see me. If you see my kid pop up every now and then, oh, yeah, I might be celebrating my grandbaby, which I'll be doing today. But anyway, that being said, here's some places that you need to put yourself as a brand to become an expert. You got to be seen. So get on podcasts. Now, yes, you can create your own podcast. And yes, I do recommend that. Go ahead, let the imposter syndrome kick it out the way, get your own podcast, set yourself up. You can do it. You can do it. But get on podcasts. Be heard. Let your message be heard. Get on different podcasts. Yeah, you can go in women's groups and all that. You can find different podcasts. Trust me, you can do this. Magazines. Yes, they're not free. That's right. I'm going to just let you know. Most of them ain't free. Ain't nobody going to be putting you on their cover for free. That's a dream and a hope. If you can get on Forbes or Essence. Yes, I've been fortunate to be on Essence twice. That's right. That's right. The comeback queen, not the cover, but inside of it. That being said, that's still a hard task to manage, but there are other smaller magazines, and a lot of them are digital. Even Oprah's is digital now. Y'all can get in those magazines. Put yourself out there. Ask and you shall receive. Closed mouths don't get fed. All of that applies to what I'm talking about right now. So don't be afraid to pay. Don't be afraid to you need to set a budget for these things that you are paying to be a part of different things. Being a speaker. Yeah, I talked about this earlier. Get on platforms, 2 to 3 a month. You need to do 2 to 3 a month. Yes, some of those are going to need to be paid. I recommend paying for at least a couple of them a month. That being said, coaching. You should be coaching. I'm just going to tell you, become an expert in your field. Create your own coaching program. And I ain't talking about no $25 a month program, y'all. And that ain't even worth getting up out of your sleep over. I'm just going to be honest with you. You need to value yourself. You got to put value to what you bring. I'm going to choose a $25 coach or a $50 coach. Actually, most coaches you can't even get a good coach for those prices. I'm going to just tell you, to be honest, really good coaches, you looking at 25, 5,000 and going up from there. I don't even want to talk about some of the ones that I know, but they really good. That's what I do know. When you leave, you going to receive. All right. That being said, being an author, I think you should be in a couple of book projects a year, at least a couple of book projects a year. And if you're really smart, you're going to be that visionary author that has 30 people that are part. Think about how much credibility that's going to do for you. And it's just, I'm telling you, it's going to make you that person that people want to know. Brand ambassadors. Don't be afraid to be out promoting other people's events. You ask our brand ambassadors from success, I am telling you, them women are the bumdiggity.com. You hear me? They had us everywhere. And I'm celebrating many of them because they helped promote a brand. Success is a brand. It's well known now. I'm looking to get bigger and bigger with it. But we also actually help people build their platform as well. That's what brand ambassadors can do for you. So be on other people. Help, like Jacqueline has an event. Brand ambassadors. Y'all can help her promote by being a brand ambassador. Consider that. The other thing is, and that's also part of volunteering. You always, volunteering and helping others. When you give, you will receive. You don't even have to ask. It's going to come your way. Because that's just, it is written, it's scriptural. So trust me, you give, you shall receive. Do your own masterminds or master classes. Do that because that will help solidify your credibility as an expert. and build your own tribe. Y'all, look, Success Women's Conference, Woman on Fire. We started off in our tribe this year with 792 people. By the way, we did that conference, and I'm saying this out loud, because I know I did a lot to work on that conference. We did that conference in a little over a month. That's right, a little over a month. That's right, go check out that conference. A little over a month. We started in our nation, Success Women's Nation, with 792 people. We now have in that group almost 5,000 people in less than 3 weeks. That's right. You think that tribe, we're not working with that tribe? We're going to make sure that tribe receives. Yes, that's our free group. And we also have Success Mentors Network. And those people will have an opportunity to do more and to speak inside our Success Women's Nation. So I am telling you, get you a tribe, because your tribe is going to support you. You see Dr. Cheryl Wood and her EE squad. I know I'm one of them. We everywhere, right? So you want to get that tribe, because that tribe is going to promote you. They're going to be places that you're not, and they're going to sell you when you're not there to sell it. So you want that apart. You want that to represent you. Get you a tribe, y'all. So I wanted to drop those things because I think it's essential. And then lastly, create your own event. I'm going to say that again. I just told you now, with Success, the Woman's on Fire, okay, that comes with a lot of experience. I don't recommend nobody do an event in a month, okay? You don't know how many days I had of sleepless nights and all that other stuff. That being said, I highly recommend you take 6 to 9 months. It really does help you have a good, stable conference that makes you money. No more big parties. You need to make money. You need to be happy when you put on the event. I am always thrilled when I put on an event, but don't think I haven't been down the road where I raised a lot of money and I wasn't happy at the end. So I am here to coach people into having a profitable event, being happy about what they do, increase your visibility. I will be helping some people this year become more visible by helping them get on different podcasts, interviews, magazines, and things like that. I do it for myself. So I coach people on that as well. And I coach people on creating their own book anthology, because I want you to have a group of people that are thrilled about being a part of your book anthology. So I'm Coach Kearn. I'm Kearn Cherry. They call me the butts in the seat queen. Yes, they do. And I'm all about making sure you got butts in those seats. You can reach me at KearnCherry.com or CoachKearn.com, either one. If you want to be a part of my Make It Happen project, just go there and click Make It Happen. If you want to be a part of my Trailblazers Who Lead, and that will be released later in the year, in June or so. But that anthology, you can also go there and set up a time to talk with me as well, because I'm looking for 30 people for that anthology as well. Now, if you want to speak and level up or power up, level up your visibility, is coming in April, y'all. And I'm telling you, I am looking for speakers. You're going to see that announcement come out. Some people are going to sign up to be a part of both. You will have those opportunities. Yes, these conferences are going to be big, and you're not going to want to miss it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm
Me
excited.
too. We both are.
All right. Well, thank you so much for those tips. You see, I have my little notepad out here, jotted a couple things down. Ladies, I hope you took some notes as well. I know some of you may have kind of jumped in the middle. Go back and watch it from the very beginning. So thanks again. Again, this is A Queen's Roundtable Show. We do this every second and fourth Sunday of the month. I bring on a different entrepreneur. If you are interested in coming on the show and, just talking about entrepreneurship and leaving the ladies with some tools and techniques, click on the link that says you want more information in reference to the show, and it will guide you through the process. So I'm Jacqueline Cabot Harrison, your host for this show. And you have just heard from Miss Kearn Crockett Cherry, aka Butts in the Seats Queen. And again, we have A Queens Roundtable Quarterly Symposium, which is coming up the 18th through the 22nd of this month. It is titled Walking into 2021 Like a Boss, Renew Your Mindset, and Reclaim Your Personal Power. So do not miss it. And Miss Crockett Cherry is also going to be speaking during that conference as well. And give them the title of your presentation again.
Okay, so my favorite is create your own profitable event. It's what I coach on, but it's also something that I really think everybody should be doing. If you're a speaker, entrepreneur, coach, or author, you should be creating your own event. I'm shouting this out as the year of the speaker. 2021 is the year of the speaker, and if you're speaking, you should have your own event.
Okay, I like that. The year of the speaker. Okay. All right. Well, thanks again for coming on the show. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed myself.
Good, good, good. And hopefully we'll continue to collaborate in the future. Thank you for all those that have joined us live. I know I didn't shout out to everybody, but thank you so much. And, leave any questions or comments that you may have, and we'll, definitely respond to you or get back to you. But, again, thanks again for joining us. And please, if you have not gotten your ticket for the symposium, it's not too late. Go ahead and grab it, okay, because you don't want to miss it. So go ahead and grab it, ladies. A lot of times we say, oh, I'll do it later, and then we forget. And next thing you know, it's come and gone. So go ahead and do it right now. Don't wait. All right. So thanks again. And everyone, enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon. And everybody take care. And until next time.